Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful edition of the Infinite Pathway. I'm AJ Kavanagh.
I'm Tom Workman. We are so glad to have you join us for this recast of our show, The Infinite Pathway. We're especially excited about this episode because I'll tell you, of anything that the guides have shared with us, appreciation, they say, is our quickest route to pivot ourselves from negative and low vibration to high vibrational frequency. It is magic.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me bring in the banner here. Today's episode, Accentuate the Positive, Living in Appreciation. And boy, don't we need that right now. You know, it's interesting because sometimes when life events happen to us, like, we lose our job or, we get into an accident or something like that, we think, what is there to appreciate? I just had this horrible thing happen. What is there to appreciate? Well, the guides have some insight for us, and they will tell you that, getting out of that energy, whatever it is, pivoting to appreciation and accentuating the positive is the quickest route to making things go right for you and in the direction that you want them to go to.
And it's easier than you think. So, I know what it feels like when you're in just a foul mood and you try to think of a positive thought. You're just like, oh, screw that. There's nothing positive, right? Because we have this momentum that happens emotionally and it's hard to shift. But what the guides are telling us is that it's easier than we think because, and why appreciation is such a powerful tool, because we all appreciate something. We all have something, whether it's that tree in our backyard that we love, or the fact that right now I'm driving without a lot of traffic, or could be and the treat I've got in the pantry waiting for me tonight. There are so many things. There's an endless number of things, and I think they're going to talk about that as well tonight. So it is easier than you think, and oh my goodness, does it work?
It really does. And so, the cautionary note here, because when you're upset and when you're thinking that things aren't going right for you, it's okay to feel those feelings.
Yep.
This isn't about denial or suppressing your emotions or anything like that. The idea is where you sort of go back to your childhood or your teenage years, where you just get in a funk and you end up saying things like, nothing ever goes right for me, and what's the point of living, and all of these things that we sometimes say. I think this is the worst possible time to be born.
Right.
And yet there is so much there for us. And the guides also say, without preempting this episode too much, that's one of the reasons we're on Earth, because there is so much diversity in, the geography, in the peoples, in the animals, in the plants, in the trees, in the culture and everything else. So much you can turn your attention toward in any moment.
Yep. So as always, we are so grateful for those who are joining us live. We know we have a number of people who will be watching on the recast, again, the recast of the recast. And so we welcome you all as well. The power is there just as much. But I really especially want to thank everyone who has joined live for this hour. And appreciate you using the chat and showing in, where your name, where you're from, and please feel free to comment all the way throughout. Any questions you have, anything you want to have us talk about after the episode is over. It's a 29-minute episode, so we'll have plenty of time, if you'd like, in the hour to have a really hearty conversation. So I encourage you to use that chat and to talk out with us. Even if you're watching later after this hour, please feel free to throw in your chat, your comments. We love to read them, and we love to hear how this affects you and how it helps you.
And we've got a terrific community over on our Speaking from Source Facebook page, and all of those that follow us on our YouTube page and subscribe and click the notification button so that they know whenever we're going live. They just get that notification, which is great. But also a big shout out to our Soul Search community as well. They're fantastic people, and we've got Teresa in the house there saying hi and sending love. And we just love, all of the beautiful community that comes around and supports us, and, makes it all great high vibe energy.
And a shout out to our Soul Search community. And really grateful for all those on Soul Search who are checking us out and seeing us there. we're excited to have you along as well.
Absolutely. And we're just going to do one quick little promo for our Live with the Guides coming up this Sunday, as a matter of fact, March 9th. And here is a special offer for everyone that has seen this.
Yep.
If you want to copy this URL, speakingfromsource.com, you can join and sign up and register for this event. And instead of paying the $33, we'll give it to you for free.
And you do have to register. So I want to make this point. Don't wait until the last minute, because your registration free is how you're going to get the link to the actual live event. And these live events are really a highlight of our month every month. We do a lot of different channeling, but this is one of my favorites because, again, we have a number of people who come to see us on a regular basis. And it's just a lovely circle. The guides always know who's in the room, and they always respond to who's in the room. And you get a chance to ask your questions, to have a conversation with the guides right there and then. So we do encourage you to come. We can't think of a reason why you wouldn't, unless you're too busy in that 1 hour. Reminder to everyone from Arizona that daylight savings change happens Saturday night. And though that doesn't affect everyone else, the times are still the same: 1 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. That for those of us in Arizona who don't change over, we suddenly shift over to Pacific time. So we'll be on live for everyone in Arizona at 1 p.m.
Just a good opportunity to keep you on your toes. And of course, Claudia says it's a great event. Thank you. She has attended a couple of these, so we really appreciate
that. We love having
that.
you on, Claudia.
Yep, absolutely. And so without any further ado, I think we've done all of our announcements. I think it's time to start accentuating the positive. So enjoy this show.
Thomas Workman and AJ Kavanagh are intuitive channels who have a remarkable ability to speak for a spiritual collective they call the Guides. They are unique in that they channel the guides together, sharing one mind as they deliver messages. The primary interest of the guides is helping us all live consistently in the state of joy, accomplished through a set of simple practices they call the infinite pathway. The infinite pathway, journey to self-realization.
Hi, I'm AJ Kavanagh.
And I'm Thomas Workman. Welcome to the Infinite Pathway, Journey to Self-Realization.
Each episode, Tom and I walk through the messages we've channeled from the guides to help us all live lives of greater joy.
And the guides share those messages with us now at this important time as we ascend to new dimensions of reality and new levels of consciousness.
Very true. They help us understand how to shine our unique light as eternal and divine souls who individually and collectively complete the universe.
And how to use our thoughts and intentions to raise our vibrational frequency and manifest our desires.
The collective of guides we channel love to offer us practical ways we can apply their messages. To them, we can all embrace universal wisdom through simple practices and habits of thought.
Well, this episode is devoted entirely to a single practice that AJ and I can attest is the fastest way to raise our vibration and help us live in a state of joy. It's the practice of appreciation.
Yes, and more than any other mindset, the guides teach us that having an attitude of appreciation holds a unique power to transform violence to peace, apathy to engagement, worry to confidence, and sadness to joy.
So, let's spend a half hour or so hearing what the guides want to teach us about appreciation, what it is, how we can practice it, and how it can help us in difficult circumstances.
We'll start as usual with the guides introducing this practice to us.
We cannot say enough about your ability to focus all of your attention in an appreciative tone, assuming that there is a gift rather than a curse, assuming that there is something of great value as opposed to something to throw you off your path into the bushes, assuming that there is something wonderful here for you to enjoy, just to enjoy, just to find pleasure, just to find joy. And it can be anything that surrounds you. We encourage you to continue your appreciation practices. And that you perhaps begin and each day with a way of tuning yourself towards the many things the universe is giving you that enable your appreciation for this shall assist all of your choice making throughout your day. Now, there are some wonderful definitions about appreciation in that statement. What the guides are saying is that appreciation involves seeing things or people as a gift, as having great value to us, and as simply making us feel good.
In other channelings, the guides have defined appreciation as the recognition and acknowledgement of the positive aspects of any person, event, or thing. In other words, we appreciate something when we realize it has a quality or characteristic that we love or admire.
Keyword, realize. In other words, appreciation is first and foremost a perception or a recognition of the value of a thing or person. Those qualities are already there, but we may not be seeing them, especially if we're focused on looking only at the negative aspects of the person or thing.
Now, this is why the guides make the point that we can appreciate anything and everything. In other words, there's no master list of things that are worthy of appreciation or things that are not.
But that's not stopped the guides from offering us a list of some of their easiest things around us to appreciate. Let's listen. There is always a flower to admire. There is always the smile of a stranger. There is always a sense of a movement forward, of advancement. There is always good news to be found. And it is easy for you to cloud your thinking into believing that all is not good, and yet good surrounds you at all times.
That's the main issue to living in appreciation. We have to believe that there is something good to appreciate every time we look. As the guides just said, good surrounds you at all times.
Mm-hmm. You know, I've always felt compelled to have flowers nearby when I'm connecting with Source or the guides. And I think it's for this very reason. It's difficult to see any type of flower and not admire its beauty.
Yeah, that is so true. And the guides mention flowers and plants in general as an easy place to find things to appreciate, especially because they're just about everywhere, including the desert.
That's right. There's always something blooming here in Phoenix, even in the hottest of months.
Yep, that's very true. Well, let's hear the guides give us some more examples of things that are easy for us to appreciate.
Many, many resources around you to assist you in this. Many, many reminders of the beauty that is around you. For from our view, we see the millions of kindnesses and the forms of appreciation that drown out our view of the negative, our sense that there is something different. For you have the newly bloomed flower and the sunrise and the gentle rain and the loving expression of another human in your life. To name only a few, you have beautiful sounds of music and so many other resources around you. For it is not difficult to remain focused in the beauty and positivity that exists for you, for it exists everywhere. Well, that's a pretty great list, but here's one more. We promise you there is a bird singing outside your window.
We promise you there is the sun shining in a particular angle. We promise you there is perhaps an animal nearby, or perhaps something else that immediately fills you with appreciation and it pivots that mood. Should you allow yourself to refocus attention, this is always available to you.
Okay, I just have to say it. I can't hear these lists without thinking we really could have all learned this lesson had we just listened to Julie Andrews sing in The Sound of Music my favorite things. I mean, come on. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. See, that's my point. All of source is perfectly revealed through musical theater.
Well, there we go. I guess we're back to the song lyrics.
I guess we are.
Well, it's good to know. Anyway, there really is something to appreciate just about everywhere you look. We just have to see the positive aspects of the things that surround us.
Yes, but there's also a bigger point the guides keep making about finding things to appreciate. You really have to look.
Very true. You know, you don't need to look very hard, but you do have to look. As the guides just said, you may have to refocus your attention.
Well, this is an important point. It's not that there's a lack of things around us to appreciate, it's that we're not tuned into recognizing or acknowledging the positive aspects as our course of habit.
You know, it's interesting that the guide said earlier that there were reminders of beauty everywhere. Seeing the beauty in something is a great way to find appreciation. But as the guides will tell us, we may have to refocus our attention to see that beauty.
Especially in things we may pass by every day and can easily take for granted.
Exactly. Here's how the guides put it.
So what is it that is beautiful? It exists in every moment, and it might require you to search it out. It might require more than it to pop you on the head. It may require for you the ability to search and to find. Today, I shall look for something beautiful, for this will assist my soul in feeling joy, and in so make my journey that much greater.
What we're really talking about is our consciousness. Here are the guides making this point clearly when they say, this is the evolution of your consciousness, where things that you had never realized before become reality for you much more often, become a part of your sentience, become a part of your perceptive fields.
Another reason why we may not be in appreciation as often as we should is that we've separated ourselves from people or things that are different than ourselves. The challenge may be for us to release our judgments of the behavior and the motives of others, appreciating their role in our lives, even when we choose to avoid interacting with them. The guides explain.
One way that we will encourage you to become more connected, to let go of more separation, is through the practice of appreciation, for taking the time regularly to stop and identify those things that are beautiful, are perfect, are a shining example of the source's best work. Examples of ingenuity or even craftiness, that person who deceived you, what energy, what capacity, what mental intelligence it took for them to come up with that scheme is exactly the kind of appreciation that we encourage you to consider on a regular basis. Yes, become practiced in the art of appreciation, become practiced in the ability to find those connections and to release yourself from those separations. The guides also suggest that finding appreciation for different views and perspectives is actually a route to our unity and oneness as a civilization. Here's the guides addressing this.
Each soul has its own purpose, its own vantage point, its own insights. So therefore, it may be good practice for them to learn to appreciate the uniqueness of each of their beingness.
they're each having different perspectives, different vantage points to practice an appreciation therein and to learn to grant and accept each other as differences and similarities as an aspect of co-creation where one can learn from the other or simply just appreciate and be. The aspect of competition is one of complete redundance. This is an important lesson for you all to learn on the planet. Right, so we know that it's easy to find things to appreciate, but let's talk about the benefits of living a life of appreciation.
Well, the guides talk about a number of benefits, not the least of which is the high vibrational frequency of appreciation. In other words, we can raise our vibrational frequency just by finding things to appreciate.
Now, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I love that. If you've been listening and reading to the messages from the guides, even for a short time, you know that they promote our living in the state of joy, which they describe as a vibrational frequency, not only as a reaction just to our positive circumstances.
Exactly. The guides teach that the fastest way to raise our vibrational frequency and experience that state of joy is through the thoughts of appreciation. Here's what they say. Focus on pure appreciation and pure love so that you are beaming in both the emotion and the state of being that you call joy.
Here are the guides discussing this in more detail on two separate occasions.
You hear us speak often, and we shall remind you again of a vibration. For your vibrational frequency is focused by your thought, and therefore those thoughts of appreciation, those thoughts that bring you joy are those thoughts that raise your vibration, and therefore that momentary pause of your breath enables you to stop and feel into the vibration that you have now created. The vibration which has been lowered by worry, by concern, by pressure, by stress, can quickly be realigned with a momentary appreciation, with a momentary thought of the beauty that surrounds you, of the gifts that surround you. These positive images and thoughts are those which bring your vibration to your state of joy, and they are worthy of your attention at all times, particularly in times when they feel challenged. There is endless resources for you to call upon in order to bring you back to a state of joy, for we remind you that joy is only created through the vibration of appreciation. Surround yourself with those things that you adore, and those things that you find beautiful, that you're able to stay within this, and they exist regardless of what other circumstances are occurring around you.
So the guides really do give us permission to leave wearing those rose-colored glasses and seeing the positive aspects of everyone and everything we encounter.
Now, we know that sounds like a recipe for complete social isolation. I mean, there may be plenty of people around you who make fun of you or even avoid you for not remaining sarcastic and cynical about everything you encounter like they usually do.
Yeah, very true. You know, that does seem to be the culture of the moment. But even the guides, they promise that this is changing as we evolve into fifth dimensional conscious awareness.
You are entering a time when you focus upon your gratitude and appreciation, and this is a wonderful gift for you. For a period of time, you are more focused towards seeing what it is that you are grateful for, rather than what it is that you are unhappy about. Yet we say to you, there is no such thing as punishment for thinking incorrectly. You are feeling the effects and will feel the effects of your thoughts, and this is enough for you to make new choices.
In fact, the promise the guides make is that our decision to stay in appreciation helps us all move closer to a new, more positive reality. Let's listen.
the conscious understanding of who you are, the peeling back of the layers, the revealing and lifting of the veil so that you do step into these vibrations of compassion and gratitude and appreciation and allowing. And my, how quickly things will change for you and others and the world from this perspective. It's great to hear that we don't need ideal circumstances to recognize and acknowledge our appreciation. In fact, the guides suggest that taking time to appreciate the things around us that we love and admire is a great way to keep ourselves focused positively during difficult situations or circumstances.
Well, that's exactly what the guides are suggesting. I love the way they talk about thoughts of appreciation as offering us a mental break from the barrage of negativity that surrounds many of us in contemporary society. Let's listen.
What if I were to be happy through this pain? What if I were to find what it is that I am grateful for, or the things that I appreciate around the corruption that surrounds me? Or there always are those things. They are a part of your creation itself. They are impossible to separate from you. They may be a sunset. They may be a beautiful flower. They may be a bird or an animal. They are a number of things that allow you to be distracted, even for a moment, towards the positive, the thing that draws your vibration forward and upward. And so these things are always available to you, always possible for you.
That's great. I love the idea of being distracted by appreciation.
Oh, that's a great phrase.
It
I
sure
love it.
is.
And, it can only happen when we make appreciation a habit, and that takes practice.
That's exactly correct. Let's share some practices now to help everyone get into the habit of appreciation. The guides have actually introduced a game we can all play to help us practice appreciation. Let's hear them talk about it.
Play this game with us. We encourage you to simply, in the beginning of your day, commit to finding as many things as possible. Do not put a number, just as many things as possible. Set to the intent that you will find those things that are worthy of your appreciation, those things that make you feel as if your life is fulfilled or is being fulfilled. Those things that feel like they are small steps of progress towards your goal. Commit in the morning towards this, and then allow yourself throughout the day to notice those things. Take careful attention to simply out loud say, this is a beautiful day, or the temperature is lovely, or I am able to get my work done today, or I am enjoying this sandwich that I am eating. And all of those things at the end of the day, we ask you before you sleep to simply recall each of those things that they brought to you on that day. And you will soon find that you have moved down your path beautifully towards those things that you are wishing for.
Now, I've played this game with the universe for quite some time, and I can tell you it works.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. The power of this exercise is that it helps us set the stage for finding aspects to appreciate by setting an expectation that we will find things to appreciate.
That's right. And the other powerful part of this exercise is that we recount at the end of the day the things we saw or experienced to reinforce this habit and to share our appreciation with Source. I just let these be my falling asleep thoughts, though others may find benefit in journaling them at the end of the day. Now, what else can we do to build a habit of appreciation?
Well, this next practice is more of a tip, really, but it's a great thing to focus on in your daily thoughts. The guide suggests that keeping your thoughts in the present moment will allow you to see what there is to appreciate right now. Here's their message about this.
We love you very much. We know, however, how easily you become distracted with the past, and how easily you become distracted with the future, when in fact all you have is this very moment. And we encourage you to make the most of this moment, for it is only in this moment that joy is able to exist. It is only in this moment that there can be appreciation for the future, it's not yet occurred. And there is nothing to appreciate, only plenty to worry about. And the past is long gone. There is nothing to appreciate, only that you regret or that which you have sentimentalized. It is gone, however, and you cannot bring current joy. Only now is able to have this power for you. This is an unsatisfying answer, we understand. And yet, it is a key for you to experience joy, to live in this moment and to make the most of this moment, each moment as it occurs for you.
Now, I got to tell you, I find this message fascinating. I mean, it makes great sense that appreciation is best found in the current moment. I just never thought about it.
That's so true. I have lots of wonderful memories of family and friends that I can always look back on very fondly. But, you know, I can't exist in my memory alone. And many of us focus on memories of the past, which are difficult or failures. But when we stay in the present moment, we remain available to create new joyful memories, as the guides suggest, and create a more joyful future.
The guides also suggest that when we focus on today, we eliminate our tendency to project the negative futures that lead us to worry. Let's listen.
What we are suggesting to you, to all of you, is to come down to a more minute level of your appreciation, even to the point where you ask, have I eaten today? And to give great appreciation, do I have a roof over my head now at this moment? And to stay within that level of appreciation, seeing how the points meet so beautifully and will continue to meet. You need not worry about the future, though simply allow yourself to come down to where it is easy for you to find appreciation for what you have versus what is missing. For the moment you live in lack, then this sets your vibration and this stops the river from flowing at all.
Now, we have one last practice for you, and it's one that we've offered before, but it fits perfectly here. And that's practicing pivoting your thoughts from negative to positive.
Absolutely. You know, we are huge fans of pivoting thought because it puts you in control of your thinking and therefore your vibration.
You may have noticed how easy it is for your mind to get on a negative rant, where in short order, all you can see is what's wrong or missing or unsatisfying. The result is a growing misery that becomes harder for you to step out of. Let's let the guides say more about this.
It simply means that you refocus your attention. It is simply about refocusing. It is about changing your attention to these things that are dramatic, that are conflict-oriented, and changing instead to those things in which you appreciate most, those things that give you the greatest feeling of satisfaction and of joy. There are so many of these, and yet it is easy for life to instead preoccupy and to focus your attention on these other matters that do not give you joy, but instead give you worry, give you anger, give you more judgment, and therefore more separation.
Well, as always, we're so grateful for your spending time with us and time with the guides.
We hope these discussions help you find the path to your joy, because that's exactly all that Source wishes for you.
Absolutely. And it's our great privilege and joy to share this path with you. We'll leave you with one last message from the guides, and we wish you great joy until we see you next time.
We ask you to remember you're among the collective now as you step into the collective of higher resonance, higher frequency, higher vibration. To remember the choice that you made was towards such higher energies, and then to remember your freedoms to choose recalibration, to place yourselves more often in the higher frequencies, in the appreciation of the good things that are around you, and indeed the good things that are within you, the beautiful heart, the beautiful light that is the essence of who and what you are as you join with all of the light of creation. And with this, we are complete and yet never far away.
Coming up in the next episode of The Infinite Pathway. For the latest messages from Thomas, AJ, and the guides, please join them on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, or follow them on Instagram at Speaking From Source. You can also book your personal session with the guides on their website, speakingfromsource.com.
Wow, how about that? You know, I just want to say right out of the gate, something I appreciate and has never lost on me, and that's our ability and our relationship with the guides.
Yes,
You
boy,
know,
that's the truth.
sometimes when or when we watch these episodes, I'm just like, wow, we channeled that. You know,
I feel that all the time.
It's amazing. And so we're so grateful for the guides and for you. But one of the other things that I thought was really interesting too, and sometimes, you know, we overlook the obvious, but our joy, the things that make us happy, actually come through the process of appreciation.
Yep, they sure do. And I think the guides have really made this point that it's certainly possible. It is our current culture that that really focuses on the negative. And you are seeing that more than ever now, right? So that if you go on social media, you can find a group of people who are going to complain about anything and everything. In fact, you can find full episodes across all of YouTube about things that people don't like and that people wish weren't, and you know, are dissing one another and dissing, you know, things that even that are legitimate that don't feel good for any of us. And we certainly have a lot of that going on right now. The point is that when we just surround ourselves with that, really the concept of misery loves company is 100% true. And so what happens is we have to really think, am I just surrounded by, is it hard for me to show appreciation? How much of that has to do with my being surrounded by everyone around me who is only seeing the negative, who is only talking about what's wrong? Now, what's interesting is that the guides even say something I think really profound. And that's that in some of your most difficult circumstances, there is a positive outcome awaiting you that could be the focus of your attention as opposed to the misery right there. In fact, one of the phrases the guides use a lot, we didn't include it in this episode, is appreciate your scoundrels.
Yeah.
And what they mean by that is appreciate the people who irritate you, who challenge you, who try and put you down, because they're exactly there for you to make choices and you to say, you know, it's like the old metaphor, the kid in the beach who's kicked sand by the muscle guy, right? The skinny, scrawny guy who decides, that's it. I'm going to build up my own, you know, physique. And if it weren't for that sand kicker, he might not ever have done that. I've certainly had experiences where I've had employers and others who really challenged me quite hard and were quite negative towards me. And I can look back and be grateful for them. In fact, even at the time, the way AJ and I worked through a difficult situation was to say, what could we get out of this? What's the positive here?
Yeah.
How could we turn this into something where we appreciate that criticism?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I remember when I was in high school, I had a friend of mine, and he had a teacher that he liked in one of his favorite subjects, and he had a teacher that he didn't like, actually, that was very critical of him, and he took it very personally. He's like, well, I'm going to show her. And he studied really hard and worked really hard, and he ended up being an A student in that class, much to the teacher's surprise. But, you know, that was, I guess, part of the manifestation process, that he needed that type of motivation for him to prove, his worth to others. And it's interesting, when we have those choices before us, that is the process of manifestation. And so it's really interesting, as you appreciate more things come to you to appreciate. And it's why we surround our homes with beautiful photographs, and we plant plants in our front yards, and all of these type of things. And I got a question for you, Tom. What does every great city have?
A park.
It has a park, absolutely. And another thing,
I'm glad I got that right.
absolutely. And another great thing that cities have also is a museum or an art gallery, things for us to appreciate. It's a natural inborn drive for us is to gravitate toward the higher vibrations and towards joy. And sometimes we're not even conscious of it, what we're doing.
Now, sometimes one of the things that I think is helpful to think about, that the guides talk about often, is that every subject has two elements to it, a positive and a negative. And it's our choice of which we're going to look at, right? So we can look at a cloudy day and think, it's going to be an awful day and I'm not going to enjoy anything outside and I can't do anything outside. As opposed to, especially for us here in Phoenix, we're like, oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad it's cloudy.
Yeah.
It gives me a break from the sun. Every subject, and test this for yourself, every subject has a way of viewing itself positively or negatively. Now, here's the challenge. Our current circumstances, it's easy to focus only on the negative aspects and not recognize there are positive aspects, but there always are. And so rather than allow ourselves to feel fear or worry or any of those things, we sort of allow our imagination to go, how might this be the impetus for something really wonderful? A better government, a better economy, a better whatever it is. How could this be turned? Because source can do anything. Nothing's impossible.
And it's interesting too. I mean, sometimes you're so mired in your circumstance that you think nothing good can come of this.
Right.
There's nothing. This is the worst case scenario. And I love that the guides offer that daily practice of pivoting your thoughts and saying, well, we understand. We understand right now you can't see the value in this, or you can't see the gold in this because it's so well hidden, right? But there are a million other things that you can focus on that can help get you out of your funk and help raise your vibration. And they say here, the practice of appreciation is part of our ascension.
It really is
how we all raise our vibration. And so each and every one of us kind of has that obligation to try and keep our vibes high. And it's not a superficial thing like saying, oh, I'm wonderful when you're not. But it is that conscious decision of seeing the glass, half full rather than half empty.
And part of what helps make that happen, the guides have explained to us, is that all things work for our greatest and highest good. That's a basic premise that they always talk about, and we talked about throughout these episodes, that if we have the belief that Source never destroys, Source never punishes, that all things work out for our greatest and highest good, then it changes our ability to do that pivoting, right? So now it's not a question of, can I possibly believe that there's something good to come out of this? It's a matter of saying, I'm going to look for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold out for it. I'm going to find it. When we asked the guides to talk in detail about how to handle our current climate and era and all the things that are going on right now that have so many people upset, the very first words out of the guides, and we'll share a whole lot more of this in the coming months, but the very first words out of the guides was, remind them that this is ultimately for their good. Remind them that this will result in good. And boy, I hold on to that almost every day. Every time I see something else that feels like the sky is falling, I'm like, well, wait a minute. The guide said that this is all towards our greatest good. So I'm going to hold on, not project my fears, live in the now, right? Because remember, that whole thing about the future is exactly that. It's sort of like, well, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to live on the streets. If the economy goes south, everything's going to go for me. And we have to stop at that moment, just like the exercise suggested, where we say, wait a minute, do I have a house now? I sure do. Do I have food now? Do I have my car now? Yep.
Yep. And, all of this contrast, as it were, is enabling us to find new ways of doing things or new solutions. And that's really good because there's nothing worse than static energy. And so you really need that flow and that river of creation to be constantly going. And this really is the next part of our evolution from what the guides are saying right now. And it's a perfect segue too, because our next episode is The Only Way is Up, realizing our evolution. And that'll be on same time next Thursday. We look forward to everyone joining us then. And we also wanted to remind you of our free gift to you. If you visit our website, you can get infinite wisdom from the guides delivered to your mailbox each and every week, right?
That's right. Every week, every Wednesday, we'll send an email to you that has a quote from the guides and then a little explanation to explain it just a little bit more. It's a quick read. And we have a number of people who are already subscribed who say to us, oh, I look forward to this every
week, every Wednesday.
Yeah, I just had 2 people say it to me today.
Yeah, and that is the pivoting practice right there in reality.
Yep.
To have something that you can go to, or you can read, or you can just get your mind off of things, and it's our free gift to you. So if you're already subscribed, great. If not, you can sign up on our website, speakingfromsource.com. /wisdom-Wednesday, or maybe you can invite a friend to come along as well. It really is beautiful, and we don't, we don't send you anything else. It's that beautiful Wisdom Wednesday every Wednesday.
Well, you've already heard how much we appreciate the guides and how grateful we are that they've chosen to speak through us. And the other thing that we want to share with you is how much we appreciate being able to share it with you.
Yes.
So I'm delighted that we can share this series with you, that there are a number of ways to have you see it and remember it and focus on the messages. These are some of the most basic premises that I think the guides have laid out just for this reason. You may have also noticed that we use the word realization a lot. And I should take a second and explain that, because to the guides, it's all about our self-realization. So realizing every aspect of ourselves, our ability to find appreciation, our ability to recognize our evolution, on and on and on. And so you'll see that word a lot.
Yeah, so come join us on March 9th. Even if you can't copy that big long URL, just go over to our events page and click on register for the Live with the Guides and enter in the coupon code LIVE100 right there, and that'll get you your free discount as well.
Come join us.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're so grateful for you and for watching and being part of our community. And boy, is this ever an amazing time to be able to link into this wisdom right now when there's so much going on in our circumstances and the world around us.
Yep. So thank you so much. It's been a joy to be with you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Bye for now.